just going to show you the way that I do acrylic. Obviously there's many different ways of doing acrylic, but this is just one way. Right, so we have a brush here, this is a size 10, and we make sure it's nice and clean before we start to use it. So we just flatten our brush on the bottom of the pot, and we just take the excess liquid just off the very tip of the brush. We go into here and we pick up acrylic on the tip of the brush, and then we tip the finger down slightly and place it 1 millimeter from the cuticle at the back. Now we press down in the gap here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just brush it out, wiping off onto the pad in front of you, like so. Do the same again, take it off the very tip of the brush, go into your pot, pick up your acrylic and place it about 3/4 of the way up the nail. Press, lift. Now we need to just leave it now just to do what we call polymerization, and what this actually means is the acrylic will actually start to form a ball, and like that. So now once we've let it set slightly, we'll then brush from the back down the full length of the nail, like so. Don't forget you can turn the finger as you go. Full length of the nail, wiping off in front. Now obviously when you're doing a real hand, you'll need to make sure there is no acrylic overlapping onto the fingers. Do exactly the same. If you felt your arch wasn't big enough, you can just place another one onto there, and again just leave it to polymerize. Now the reason this is taking a little bit longer is that the acrylic liquid and powder are a little bit on the cold side, which does affect the way it works. So you need to keep this at room temperature. Now I've let it set a little bit, and I'm just going to brush down from there and just go the full length of the nail, not stopping part way down. And again, if we need to clear out the sides, we'll do that. Now I'm going back in again, and I'm going to take it off the very tip of the brush. I'm going to go into my powder, and I'm going to pick up some. I'm going to place it right, tip the finger up and place it right on the very tip. I dried my brush a little bit there. Just tap the tip of your brush around and then brush backwards into the nail. If you get a little bit of an overhang here, just run your brush along and scrape it off. Once you've done some backward ones, you can do some forward ones then, because the acrylic's slightly set. Now I'm going to go back to the back of my nail again, and I'm just going to fill in that little section there, leave the 1 millimeter gap, keep the finger slightly downwards so it doesn't run back to the cuticle, and then just brush the whole thing out. Don't forget you can turn the finger, client's finger. And what you're trying to achieve is a very smooth surface with a nice arch going on the about 3/4 of the way up the nail, fading down. Now if you find that you've got a little bit of a dip at the side, or you haven't put enough on, just go back on and just place a bit where you think you need it, and then you can just brush that out, brush it backwards, and just get your acrylic and then just build up where you felt you needed to do it. And that's basically all there is to it. So when you're doing an ombre, you need a little separate pot to use for your white, so it doesn't wreck your big pot of liquid. And basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to wet my brush again, take it off the tip. This time I might take a little bit more liquid off, and I'm going to pick up in the white. I'm going to tip my finger up slightly. I'm going to place it right on the tip, and then I'm just going to flatten that out with the tip of my brush so it's even around the nail, and then I'm going to brush backwards into the nail like so. Again, scrape off the sides if you get a bit of overhanging. Now you want to take the white about 3/4 up the nail, but fading away. Now at this point now you need to let this set. So what we're going to do is just take a moment while I let that set. Okay, so now we've got that, it's gone off, so we can now continue. So I'm just going to get some liquid off on my brush again, and I'm going to go in this time into my colour, and I'm going to place it 1 millimeter away from the back. I'm going to press in the back up to the cuticle, keep it slightly pointing downwards so it doesn't run back to the cuticle, and then I'm going to brush that out quite gently down the nail like this. I'm going to get another bead. I'm going to place this a little bit further down, and then I'm going to brush from the front of the bead. That's so I don't take the colour too far down the nail. I'm going to add up some more, but this time I'm going to pick a tiny piece up like this. I'm going to place it where I think I need it, but brushing from the front of the bead, I'm just going to fade that in to the nail. I don't want to contaminate the white at the front, as you can see. I'm just going to fade it down the nail. Don't contaminate your front section. And you can just continue like that until you've got the desired fade and how far you want it to come down the nail. Now obviously you can take it as far down the nail as you want to, it's up to you. Now I just need to reinforce the back section again with a bit more colour so that it makes the back more dark. Keep the finger slightly down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just brush that down the nail, and it will accentuate the back of the nail so that it looks a deeper colour. Now you don't want a definite line across, which is very important. Now I'm going to my clear. I'm going to place it somewhere here, and then I'm just going to brush that out down the whole nail to encapsulate that pink fade inside or underneath the actual clear acrylic. And obviously we have to do that because when we file afterwards, we don't want to file our graduation away. So I've used Birthday Suit here, which is part of the CJP range, and I've used Milky Pink for the white. It's best not to do it in a pure white because then it doesn't give us as nice a fade down the nail. You can also use your clear acrylic to actually build up your arch as well. And that basically is it.